to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Anna and I make art and lifestyle content. Today I have a really fun video for you. We're going to be taking a closer look at the Archer and Olive Acrylograph paint pens. Pre-warning, I'm obsessed with these pens, so this might be slightly biased. However, I'm going to try and give you a really honest review, and maybe this will change your opinion if you want to buy them, or will encourage you to buy them. But we're going to go through lots of different points about these pens. So let's get going. Firstly, the Acrylograph paint pens are just stunning. Archer and Olive, a really cool company, and have made some really great notebooks, and last year bought out the paint pens. They started off with 3 collections. They had the dual tone, the primary and the tropical, and each collection has 10 pens in them. The first collection I went with was the dual tone. It just speaks to me deep in my soul, those colours, and I got them in the 0.7. I found it really difficult to decide whether I wanted the 3mm or the 0.7s. I have got Posca paint pens in 3mm, so I figured going for the 0.7 would be a possibility to use them alongside my Posca paint pens, and they obviously are working around the sort of same media. They both, once you lay the paint down, you need to give it a second to dry, but once it's dry, it's not going anywhere. It is not going to run or bleed, and it just gives you a great colour payoff. So the Acrylograph pens, like I say, come in a set of 10. They come in this beautiful packaging with the gold Archer and Olive logo, and when you open them, you have this side is your blending palette side. There is some information about the pens and how to use them and to keep them clean and to lay them flat. They need to be laid flat to stop the ink from building up. And once you have the other side, it tells you a bit more information as well, and then you have your pens in the centre. You also have this little square in the top which actually contains spare nibs. The Acrylograph paint pens I bought from a UK stockist, as I'm here in the UK, and I paid £28.95 for the collection. So as there are 10 pens in there, that works out to be about £2.90 per pen. However, there is one pen in there, the blending pen that you will have in every collection, that is empty. So whether or not you want to include that is entirely up to you. That would make the 9 pens about £3.22 each. Very similar in the price point with the Posca paint pens. I don't know if they're more expensive the thicker the pen is, but their 3mm work out about £3 each. I cannot state why Archer and Olive bought out their Acrylograph pens, but I believe it has something to do with their blackout journals. Bringing out their blackout journals was incredible. They have incredible paper, and having a black journal is just something very new and intriguing, and lots of people like that look, and I must admit I love a white pen on a black background. It's just something really crisp about it. So obviously there is not many medias out there that work very well over black paper, and so these Acrylograph paint pens definitely do that. I have been using this year the Neapolitan notepad, so this time I am also able to tell you how the colours show on the craft paper as well as the black and the white. The colours are incredible. This is a massive range now that they have the warm full, the cool full collection as well. So many different colours, really beautiful tones. You have a few brights in there. You've got your tropical collection, which is the only one I don't have. And then you've got some really nice, deep, moody colours with lots of gorgeous greens and turquoises. So on the white paper, you are definitely going to get the best colour payoff. You're also going to have the cleanest lines, and the colours are just going to stand out better on the white paper. Not to say that they don't stand out on the black paper. The black paper, I would say, definitely gives them a bit more of a moody tone to them, and undertone's definitely a bit darker. Your bright green and bright orange is still going to be bright green and bright orange, but not as bright as they are on the white paper. Also, the colours, you're definitely going to want to go over them maybe twice, depending on how smooth your pen is running. If you're trying to fill in an area, you have some leniency on the white paper, whereas on the black, if you swipe too quick and don't put down enough paint, you will definitely have that black darkness showing through. So finally, the craft paper. So this is my first time using the Acrylograph on the craft paper, and I'm very impressed. The paper definitely feels a little more textured than the other papers, which is lovely. I love craft paper. And a couple of the colours I would say don't stand out as well, and there also again has been a little bit of a colour change just due to the fact that there is a coloured surface underneath. There are a couple of colours as well in the collections that when on the craft paper I don't feel stand out quite as well. They stand out a bit more when the light catches them, but mainly because they've just got those brown undertones, so they just aren't standing out as much. Same way as the white won't stand out on the white and the black won't stand out on the black. And the darker colours don't stand out too much on the black. However, such a thick paint it does still give you some colour payoff. So let's talk about the pens themselves and how they are actually put together. So the pens are stunning. They come in the white casing and have the coloured pen top, and they also have a colour mark on them. The main difference you'll see is obviously the tips between the 0.7 and the 3mm. The 3mm definitely have a more traditional paint pen tip. They remind me a lot more of the Posca paint markers. They are more of that sort of felt tip sort of style, maybe not quite as soft as felt tip, but if you use the Posca paint pens, you'll definitely know what I'm talking about. The paint pens, as with most paint pens, you've got to give them a really good shake, and you've got to push down the nibs to activate them. The 0.7, however, is a different story. The 0.7 has what seems to be quite a plasticky tip. The tip I was not expecting. It has these slices down the sides to allow the paint to run, and it's a lot firmer. It's not got any give to it whatsoever, and I also have found it to be a little scratchy when pushing down too hard. So the paint pens have definitely taught me to be a little gentler, and also if you are gentler, the paint tends to flow better. But that was something I did not quite expect when I first started. You can definitely feel a bit more of a scratchy feeling to them. Not to say that they don't work well, they just, because of the plasticky tip, it's not got any give to it, so it does have a bit more of a harsher feel, as opposed to the 3mm, which is definitely a felt sort of paint marker tip that definitely glides a much better. The 3mm I would say definitely are going to be better for filling in large areas, although still I wouldn't say colour an entire page in with them, because you're not going to get very far and it's going to take you forever. But to fill in larger sections and to do a more thick outline to a page, or to do some doodles, fantastic. The 0.7s are definitely going to help you if you are a bit more dainty with your doodles and would like to do colourful calligraphy and headings for your pages. I've really enjoyed using the 0.7s to do different fonts and play around with some of my fonts in my 2021 journal setup. The great thing about these pens, and one of the big things that I really liked about them, is that you can layer really easily. Like I said, because you are not scrunching up any of that paper underneath, with the Posca pens, as soon as you put another pen on top, it's a recipe for disaster. However, these, once they've dried, literally they do not move, and you can go over the top of them as many times as you like. I have found that I've had to fill in an area twice with the paint pens just to have a really flat finish, to not have any variation. That's mainly because I'm probably going a bit too fast and not letting the paint come through quick enough, but that's not a problem having to go over twice. I like the colour payoff. So then going over top of those layers twice, I've not had any problems. The best thing I would say is that the lighter colours definitely show up better on the dark, and the dark colours definitely show up better on the light. I have had a play around with like two sort of light colours, and they're barely noticeable. They're very subtle layering, but the dark brown in the Cool Full set with some of those blues on top and the really light yellow in there is just lovely. Blending. Let's talk about blending. Like I said, there is a blending pen. It's going to be in every single one of these collections, and honestly I am not fussed. As these pens are paint pens and they do dry quickly, to blend on the page is really hard. I have not succeeded at it. You end up with both pens there with the lids off, and then I run swapping back and forth between the two, and I have not found blending to be that successful, to be honest. Some people might have found it better and might have hacked it, however that is not me at this moment in time. The big thing about their packaging was this empty place that they have called the blending palette. So this is a shiny surface, so obviously the pens are going to take a little bit longer to dry on here, but not that much longer. So the thing I have seen is people have been squashing the pen on here until lots of ink is flowing, and then squashing the other pen on here until lots of ink is flowing, and using in brushes or the blending pen. I'm not even going to show you my attempts because it just did not work for me. I ended up with just enough paint there to write one word, and that was a short word, not supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. It was a short word, and I just haven't found them very successful in the blending front, which in my mind makes the blending pen kind of a waste of a pen in the pack, to be honest. I've tried dipping a darker pen into the lighter pen, and that hasn't particularly worked too well. I don't want to dip the light pens into the dark pens because I know I'll end up with probably a permanent dark tip, which will probably be inevitable for me. And like I said, the blending on the palette didn't work particularly well. I mixed colours on the palette and then dipped the blending pen in, and yeah, I have not found them successful in the blending front, and I feel like that was quite a big part of their selling point, especially for them to have a blending pen in there. This entire side is all about blending. It tells you tips for blending. Oh, so it does say to use the darker ink in the palette and then pick it up with the lighter pen. But okay, maybe I should have tried that, but I can't see these particularly working too well for blending just because they're paint. I've been watching people blend with jelly rolls as well, and that doesn't work particularly well. Blending is not suitable unless you are using proper paint, acrylics and watercolour, not acrylic pens. The good thing is though, if you have damaged the tip of your pen or you have blended it with something else and it hasn't come clean, which it should do with just some water and a cloth, then there are 2 replacement tips in each packet. Finally, a couple of things that I would love these pens to do in the future. I have heard from one YouTube channel these are happening, but I don't know if that is true. It has not been verified as far as I can see on the Archer and Olive Instagram, is individual pen sales. One thing that really bugged me is that every single one of these packs has a white pen in it. I do not need to buy 5 packets with 5 white pens in them. 1 or 2 white pens will do me. So being able to buy something individually, these pens individually, would be absolutely incredible, would be a game changer. If one of the pens runs out of my collection because it's my favourite pen, I do not want to have to buy another entire collection just to get the one pen. However, I'm probably going to end up with 3 mils and 0.7 mils of every single set. So the other thing that this YouTube channel mentioned was potential refills, which I think would be incredible, especially as the packaging is so minimal on these with the cardboard and that bit of foam, which I have managed to rip off of the cardboard and separate them. So it was tough, but it happened. I don't know if the foam is recyclable. I don't think it is over here. So yeah, having refills would be absolutely awesome, because that would reduce your waste, reduce your waste, and I mean, these pens would have quite a long lifetime, and that you wouldn't have to keep buying new packets. I do think selling them individually would be a really good move, especially if you don't want to spend 30 odd quid on an entire set of pens, when you, in your mind, you're like, I just want to buy a couple, see how we get on with them. And yeah, I definitely think that would be convenient. Overall, are these pens expensive? Yes. So are Posca pens, so is a lot of art supplies, so are my Tombow brush pens. It just depends on whether or not you want to invest in them, because they are really good pens. Do I think you were more really getting a collection of 8 to 9 pens? Yes, because I really don't see the blending capabilities of these pens. It's definitely something I'm going to keep trying and keep experimenting with, and I will update you on my Instagram if it is a success, and I will do videos to update that if that changes. So in my mind, the blending pen is kind of a waste in the packet. And also, like I said, the white, I don't need a white in every pack. To be honest, I don't know if you needed a white at all. Yes, the white is convenient for those people that have the black journals and the craft journal. If you have the white Acrylograph journals, which are their basic journals, there is absolutely no need for the white pen, unless you are using it for layering. So, but like I said, it's just the fact that I've bought 4 sets now and have 4 white pens. If you are from the UK, I definitely recommend using the stockist link down below. Please do not go and buy from Archer and Olive and pay for shipping, because it is available in the UK without having to pay shipping fees. I mean, if there's something from their website that's not in the UK, then by all means, but keep an eye out for UK stockists. What would I recommend these pens for? They are fantastic for doodling. They are fantastic for creating really cute little layered doodles of anything you want to layer. They are brilliant for adding detail, especially if they are 0.7 mils to your other artwork. They are paint, especially if you work in acrylic or gouache, they should work really well with that. Don't know how they'd work on watercolours, and they are going to be great to add really bold colours and details to your bullet journals and journals in general. I've loved using it so far for my title pages and for the backgrounds of the frames, that's the word, the frames and layouts that I have been doing so far. And like I said, if I didn't like using them, I wouldn't have bought 2 more packets. I started off with the Jewel collection, I got the Cool Full for Christmas, and then I got the Primary and the Warm Full with Christmas money. So yeah, am I gonna get the tropical set? I don't know, not my colour scheme usually. However, there are a couple of colours in there that do really pop, and it'd be nice to have a bit more contrast. I do really like these pens. If you are buying these pens for blending, I would wait a bit to see how they go and to maybe find some other channels that have succeeded in the blending front, because I definitely have not. I've really enjoyed using these pens, and I hope this has been an informative video for you, and maybe it has made up your mind about whether or not you want to get these pens. If there is anything I've missed, please let me know down in the comments, and I will happily do a little update on my Instagram. If you want to see these on regular paper and see if they hold up. I definitely want to have a go though in the future, seeing what these Acrylograph paint markers can write on, because I think that could be really interesting to see if they work on other surfaces. That is all. If you enjoyed this, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you loved it, don't forget to subscribe down below. Go check out some of my other videos if you would like. I would appreciate it. I have really enjoyed going on this art journey, but getting back into the arts this last year, and I will definitely be starting a couple new challenges this year with some Pantone cards again, which I didn't finish, but I will finish this year. We'll start again and finish. I'm not finishing last year's. And I will see you on the next one. So keep safe, keep smiling. Bye.